So today we are going to cover the last lesson in this section, and we're only covering a brief portion of it. The problems that we're not covering actually are very in-depth as far as algebra is concerned, because you've got to do lots of different things, very multitask or multi-step problems. But they're all in the EOI, so we're going to kind of skip over those for now and just talk about the basics that you need to understand. We want to talk about the distance between the point and a line, or a point and a line. And, from this point here, I could draw several line segments, couldn't I? I could draw several line segments. But there's only one line segment that actually represents the distance from the point to the line. And that is the perpendicular distance. Okay? That is the only one that represents the true distance between the point and the line, is the perpendicular distance. So you'll have some problems that says draw a segment that represents the distance from P to AB, from point P to line AB. So that means I have to start at point P, and I have to draw a segment that represents the distance to line AB, okay? So if I go here and I go straight down and create a perpendicular line, that's going to represent the true distance, okay, from P to AB. We're going to do the same thing here, except where am I going to draw it? What's going to have to happen? AB is going to have to be extended, okay? So we're going to have to extend it, and then I can draw my perpendicular. What if they asked me to do B to PA? They asked me to go B to PA. What am I going to have to do? Don't I do the same thing? Am I going to have to extend it? Because see, this segment right here is not perpendicular to PA, is it? No. It's, it creates an obtuse angle. So if I took PA and I extended it, then I could draw and create a perpendicular. Okay? But you have to start at point B and then draw a perpendicular to PA. Okay? And so those segments represent the distance from the point to the line. Okay? All right. Now, let's talk about the distance between two parallel lines. Okay? The distance between two parallel lines should be what? What should it be, just in common sense? If I talked about the distance between two parallel lines, in order for it to be parallel, that distance needs to be what? The same all the way, right? Okay? And so to determine what that distance is, I take and I choose a point on that line, and then I draw a perpendicular to its parallel line. That would represent the distance between the two lines. Now, if I did it at another point and I drew the perpendicular, what should be true about those two segments? They should be equal. They should also be parallel, huh? They should, right? If they're the same distance and they're both perpendicular to both lines, they should be parallel as well. All right. And so that kind of leads us to this next term called equidistant. I like that word. I think it's a cool word. Equidistant means equal distance, and the distance between two lines measured along a perpendicular line to the lines is always the same. Okay, so if you take an old-timey ladder, and I'm not talking about those newfangled ones that they have, where they curve out, they do all kinds of weird stuff, okay? I'm just talking about your basic ladder. Each rung on that ladder should be what? They should be the exact same size, right? And what should be true about the two sides of the ladder? They should be parallel, yes? Okay, so those two sides of the ladder are parallel, and each one of the rungs should be the same length, okay? And each rung is going to be perpendicular to both those parallel lines, and each rung should also be parallel to each other, okay? But the word equidistant means the same distance, equal distance. So if something is equidistant, that means they're the same distance from each other, okay? All right. Any questions? That's really all there is. Like I said, we can get really difficult, and we can actually have to find the distance using the distance formula and slope-intercept form and all that kind of stuff. There's lots of steps involved. So we're going to not do that right now. Okay, page 220, 1 through 3, and 9 through 14, in addition to the workbook pages that are on the board, okay?